The views and opinions expressed on this station do not reflect the owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Monday, the 8th day of February, 2021. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, and Lindo's. I'm Jamal Hartman, along with Carla Zul. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. If you're watching online, share the link. If you're on Facebook, start a watch party. If you're on Twitter, retweet it. Just get the conversation out there to your network, and don't forget to like and engage with us. Another good one today, as we have a speaker from the Digital Leadership Conference. We had a couple last week, and now we have Deshun Simmons from the Bermuda Economic Development Corporation stopping by. The daily play is a Who Said It. So Carla will be guessing the author. I said author. The author of a famous quote. But look, weekends are made for getting rest and coming back all pumped up and ready to go. And I didn't get that much rest this weekend. I didn't watch the whole game, but there was this Super Bowl last night. First. Okay, before we get into the conversation,
don't go there, please.
Carla, I have to ask this. No, seriously, I cannot assume. Carla, you know what sport the Super Bowl is, right?
Listen, don't insult me. I am a jock. I didn't even know who was playing last night, but I know what the Super Bowl is.
Carla, the reason I have to ask. The reason I have to ask. I have a colleague. My colleague sells hockey tickets for a living. Last week, she asked, with the straightest face of all, straight face, when is the Super Bowl for hockey?
For hockey? Isn't that called the Stanley Cup? Even I know that.
Wow.
I do. I'm an athlete.
And I said, you mean the Stanley Cup? Well, I don't know. But well, leave it alone. Never mind. All right. So we passed the first test. Carla knows what the Super Bowl is, folks. I mean, I can't assume these things. You know, we just don't know what we're going to get from anyone on any given day. So I take back the insult that was to Carla delivered just now. So everyone agrees that the Super Bowl involves the American football game where they throw it to another guy to get 6 points, kick it for an extra point. Cool. So last night was the Super Bowl game, and it was between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's in Florida, and they're owned by the same people that own Manchester United. That's in Manchester. So both of us represented, I guess, right?
The Glazers.
Yep. I was trying not to say those damn names. I can't stand them. But the Glazer family, as Carla just said, and they went up against, what was the other team? Kansas City Chiefs. I almost forgot. That's how irrelevant they were during the game. But the Kansas City Chiefs, and Tom Brady won his 7th Super Bowl last night. Interestingly enough, people are saying that, you know, the greatest athlete of all time. And while I think he is probably the greatest quarterback in that sport or greatest player in that sport, it's kind of hard. And this is why I've always had a problem with the NFL and their athletes. No, I've never played. I've played a bit of rugby in high school. But there's something about comparing athletes that play one way versus athletes that play both ways. Serena Williams, offense and defense. Basketball, offense and defense. Real football, offense and defense. A quarterback only plays
offense.
So to take someone in a sport that's dominated one way and say greatest athlete of all time, nah, I'm not buying it. But let's get into some grading. let's get into some grading. We're gonna grade this morning. We need the audience help to grade some things we saw in the Super Bowl last night. We're gonna start with the commercials. Carla, did you happen to see any commercials?
Nope. When I went to bed, they hadn't even started anything Super Bowlish, so no.
Well, you know what? We're gonna give Carla a round of applause, folks, because she went to bed. Well, I'm not gonna say early because it's still late over there, but she did not stay up late last night. So we're gonna give her a round of applause. Yeah. Yes. We're all rested today. So commercials. I'm gonna say my favorite commercial was the Shaggy commercial with Ashton Kutcher and I think it's Mila. But that was yeah, it was that. Oh, that's his wife.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't keep up with this celeb stuff. But that was probably my favorite commercial. What was your favorite commercial of last night if you were if you watched the game? But Shaggy and Ashton Kutcher was my favorite. So I'm gonna give that a B+. Now I've seen better over the years. I'm gonna give that a B+.
It was a Cheetos commercial, right?
Yeah. And like she kept getting caught with Cheetos, all her stuff, and kept saying it wasn't me and da. So that would be my favorite last night. See, again, I must have tuned out. I didn't see Cardi. I didn't see a commercial with Cardi. I'll have to go back and check it. Halftime show. You know, one of the things that I love about my social media connections is that I've been out of Bermuda so long that I do have a lot of non-Bermudian connections on social media. So it's always interesting to see how people respond to things differently. I mean, when I look at the best halftime shows of all time, there's nothing that touches Michael Jackson, in my opinion. But a lot of people that are tweeting and on Facebook today won't even know about that. I think that was 92, because if Whitney Houston was 91 in the singing the anthem, then Michael Jackson must have been 92 in performing. I could be off a year. But I say that because Michael Jackson's halftime show is not talked about enough. I mean, if you knew Michael Jackson, he put on a show, right? That was the best, hands down. But today, people are like, oh, Beyonce. And now the closest thing to Michael was Prince. Prince was about within the last 10 years, right? But again, it was okay, 93. Thank you, Asha. It was 93. But that was the hands down the best halftime performance I've ever seen. But I see people saying, comparing like this year to last year with Jennifer Lopez and Shakira, and you've got Beyonce and so on. None of those compare to Michael Jackson. Like, people that hear you say that may say what you're saying about The Weeknd. The point I'm trying to make is we have to keep things in perspective. And to me, for what the performance was, that was a hell of a performance by The Weeknd. Because keep in mind, social distancing, although it is Florida, yes, it is Florida, they still rules that apply. So he had to limit it. What I will say is you need entertainers for the halftime show, not singers.
Well, people were, I have seen some tweets this morning and the memes, and people were saying he was horrible. And then someone said, never have someone who can't dance. Mm-hmm. So I guess that applies to like what you were saying.
But Prince couldn't dance. Prince wasn't a dancer. And that's my point. It's like the two greatest halftime shows I've seen, Prince and Michael Jackson. Michael was the best performer probably ever to live, right? There's no comparison. Prince was a great entertainer. He wasn't a dancer, right? But he had the crowd involved. The Weeknd did not have the opportunity to get the crowd involved. Why? Because they had paper cutouts of people, right? And it was not, So, and again, those who don't have mainstream music, and let's be honest, there's really no popular mainstream when you look at Bermuda, radio stations or anything. So you're not really going to appreciate, this guy is like one of the hottest Black mainstream artists in generations.
So it's not as bad as what people are making it out to be? Because I haven't seen it.
I'm not going to say it's not as bad. People have their own opinions. It might be as bad to them, but again, we're limited to what we know, is my point. My point is, and as I mentioned, I've worked in radio outside of Bermuda, so I'm thankful to have connections that have a larger scope or a different scope on music and entertainment. But if you're comparing The Weeknd to Beyonce and Bruno Mars and Shakira and Jennifer Lopez last year, I'm going to rise you one and say none of them compare to Michael Jackson or Prince, is my point. We all have our, likes and not likes, but I'm just going to say, Michael Jackson set the bar. It's like the U.S. anthem, the American anthem. Every time someone sings it, people just compare it to Whitney, be like, nah, they ain't touch Whitney. So I don't know. Everyone's barometer is different, and I think it's generational as well. Because, like I said, Mike was so long ago, but that's the barometer for me. Like Beyonce, I ain't trying to get the beehive come after me. I don't need to be stung. I don't need no honey on. I ain't got no honey on me. But I'm saying she don't come close to Michael Jackson's performance. And I would react probably how people are reacting to The Weeknd. However, I don't, because I appreciate generations and I appreciate the differences and I appreciate what's going on. What I appreciated about Beyonce's performance that time was she addressed it. Now, I want to talk about something else that really reveals, and I know this is supposed to be happiness speaking about the Super Bowl, but if nothing, last night exposed the hypocrisy, not in the NFL, but it exposed the hypocrisy in white supremacy, the hypocrisy in the system, the hypocrisy when it comes to doing what they say they're interested in doing, which is fighting injustice. And I'll tell you why it's hypocrisy. And this is why I have a problem with the whole diversity and inclusion. If the idea of diversity and inclusion is just to have black faces, then you're failing. You're failing. If the idea is to change a system that benefits them, which I just don't see happening, then okay. But how is it you're on about diversity and inclusion as an organization and Cap sitting back, what's up? Mind you, I don't think Kaepernick should be trying to get a job for people who don't want him. I think that all those million and billion dollar people like P. Diddy and Jay-Z, all those people should have said, you know what? Let's take our money and create our own. But it's just interesting to me that all of a sudden they care about injustice and the very things that this man kneeled for, you're acting like you now support. Let's call out this hypocrisy. Oh, yeah, there was a game that went on. Yeah. But see, someone said to me, one of my mentors said to me when we were fighting conscription, I love sport. My sons are two great athletes. But we have to be very careful with sport. Sport can be a few things. It can be there to entertain us or distract us from our pain. Mm-hmm. And we have to be very careful with it. There's a group of people that had a problem with a man kneeling, using his platform in sport to bring attention to the very things that the NFL is doing right now. See, black people, let's not just worry about the ball being thrown and that guy getting the MVP again. There's more to it than running up and down a gridiron.
I wonder how many people continued the boycott, because I know for me from then, I used to peek at games, but I absolutely do not watch anything NFL. I wonder how many people still don't.
You know what? I've never been a huge NFL fan. Obviously, my game is football, the real kind where you actually kick the ball. I've watched it because I've been in the US. Do I watch it religiously every Sunday? No. It's just not. It's as one of my British commentators that I listen to every morning said. It's like the amount of commercials are enough to give you an attention deficit disorder. Like it's so commercial driven. Like it literally took 20 something minutes for 4 minutes of play yesterday. That to me is it's a commercially built and driven sport. So and that's why it goes back to athletes. Yeah, they come in all sizes, all great, but the sport is way too slow. Saying that to say, I have watched the Super Bowl, but I can count on one hand how many times I've watched a game from start to finish, and I didn't even watch last night start to finish. Let's go to some comments, Carla, because we do have quite a lot. Kiara Sumner says, Michael B. Jordan as Alexa. I missed that commercial. I missed that one. Robert Durham says, I love the Shaggy commercial too. Terry Tukul says, now I want to see the MJ performance. I was a tiny tot when that happened. Yeah, I just showed my age, boy. Saying
Jamal's out.
Yeah, I'm catching you up there, sis. Michelle White, I looked at halftime show for what it was. Effort with COVID. And that's it. That's my point. Like, I mean, folks, like it's a COVID. I mean, again, yes, it is Florida. I get it. You all were expecting Norm in Florida. But, there's still restrictions in place. Robert Durham, Michael was definitely the best. And this is interesting. Yes, Leslie White says, and he spent $7 million of his own money to enhance what the NFL spent. And keep in mind, they don't get paid for.
Now, who's he? The Weeknd or Michael Jackson? Okay.
Well, nobody gets paid for the Super Bowl, but yeah, she's talking about the weekend. Robert Durham, his music and singing just didn't sound right to me. Yeah, sound could have been a big part of it. Carnival of the crowd in halftime light show if 30,000 were cardboard. There you go. And that's my point. We have to keep things in context. We have to keep things in context. Michael Jackson was the best. I'm just glad that there's people old enough to remember Michael Jackson's performance, because I was, Terry jumped in saying, "Yeah, before my time." I'm like, man, did I just call him myself? Terry says, "I honestly love that sport. I can't go back to supporting it like I once did." Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I just think the hypocrisy of the NFL. And I want people to understand this. This is not the NFL. This is the system. These are jobs people go to every day that are covered up with diversity and inclusion, right? They're gonna act like they support these marches and support all things that include so-called equality. This is it's for show. And if it's not for show, tell them show you. Tell them, let's see more actions. Let's not just see black faces in these spaces. Those black faces need to be courageous enough to change things from within. James Burt says, the unity messaging looked like more whitewashing to create a new normal of destruction. That's my point, James. That's my point. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. And I was not going to mention it, but I'm going to say it. What about Janet and the wardrobe malfunction? Well, I did see Mina Harris. Is that Kamala Harris's Vice President Kamala Harris' sister or niece?
I think it's her niece, the one that's all of a sudden in the fashion light. It's her niece, I believe.
She was all on Twitter last night. She mentioned this. She says, she replied about the Super Bowl Sunday. She said, happy Cap and Janet Jackson Day. Because for her, it started with how they shamed Janet Jackson when Justin Timberlake was involved. And also how they shamed, they've shamed Colin Kaepernick. Now everything that he kneeled for, right, is being capitalized on by the NFL. It's so weird to me. That's the key phrase, covered up. Well,
I never understood the whole Janet Jackson and Timberlake thing, because he pulled it off, and yet she was the one that was maligned and ridiculed and all of that. I never understood that. I get it, she had on risque something, but he made a mistake and unveiled it, but yet she paid the penalty.
Indeed. Well, to be fair, and I'm not trying to start a gender war here, women have always come up and been treated this way. It's always traditionally been the woman's fault. And I think that was a prime example in the early 2000s when that happened. I felt so bad for Janet Jackson when that happened. The media was all over her. And it was almost like, was there not another gentleman on the stage with her? Like, did he?
I got that.
Yeah. We're going to look. We have a long show to go, folks. We have Deshun Simmons coming on. Don't forget, we are having this week speakers from the Bermuda Digital Conference on. The digital conference will be on this show. After we're done with Deshun, don't go anywhere, because I want to discuss something that was in the media this weekend regarding Premier David Burt. People were up in arms about something that was in the Royal Gazette. I don't know if you saw it, but it was pretty much if black people. I think the headline read off the top of my head. I don't have it in front of me. If black people don't take the vaccine, they're more likely to die or something. So I think people might have overreacted a bit on that. In fairness to the premier, I mean, come on, folks. We've got to read beyond the headline. And if you still feel that way after you read beyond the headline, fair enough. But I think we have to really stop taking things for face value. You know, I used to argue with this all the time. It was an old saying they used to say, don't judge a book by its cover, which I think is absolutely stupid, because we should judge, based on their, well, I'm saying, like, I mean, they tell us don't judge a book by its cover, right? And then they tell us first impressions matter. Well, which is it? You go to a job interview and they tell you first impressions matter. Well, if someone can't afford a suit, how are you going to judge them based on what they look like? Can't you just have a conversation, see if they can do the job? So, but again, going back to the point I was making is, I think we should not allow the titles or the covers of subjects to decide how we're going to move forward. There's much more beyond the headline, and we have an opportunity. We may not like it. I don't at times, but this premier is very active with his Twitter. Call him out. Call him out. He will respond. Well, if he doesn't respond, just do what I do. I'm not going to tell you what I do. We're going to go take a quick news break. Carla, we're a bit behind. Going to take a quick news break, and then we'll be back with our guest for the day, Deshun Simmons from the Bermuda Economic Development Corporation. Going to be talking about how what the young people can expect at the Digital Leadership Conference as far as what they'll be presenting. Carla, over to you.
Despite an advisory put out by the government that the current curfew regulations will remain in place for at least the next 2 weeks, a total of 11 individuals were found to be in breach of those regulations on Friday night. Currently, the curfew is in place between midnight and 5 a.m. The Bermuda Police Service continued to carry out curfew checks at different locations across the island as part of efforts announced by government to help stop the spread of coronavirus. Individuals out and about during these hours without an official exemption, as outlined in the curfew regulations, could find themselves summoned to appear before the courts. If you are not sure who is exempted or how to apply for an exemption, please visit www.gov.bm. But the Bermuda Police Service is reminding members of the public that everyone in Bermuda has a part to play in stopping the spread of COVID-19, and abiding by the curfew regulations is key to helping achieve that objective. Great news for anyone who wants to attend the 2021 Annual Science Forum at the Bermuda College in person, because they may not have access to Wi-Fi or a computer at home. The Bermuda College has made 25 spaces available to allow attendees to attend in person. The forum, entitled Interrelated Wellness Through the Lens of COVID, will be held this Wednesday, February 10th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. The goal of this year's Roche Science Public Forum is to showcase Bermudian scientists from different disciplines and have a discussion around how COVID-19 is ultimately affecting the 3 pillars of sustainability, which are society, environment, and economy. Anyone who wishes to attend the event, either online or in person, are asked to register at www.collegebm. And Jamal, thank you, because you made that suggestion. So kudos to you. Guess what, Jamal? You are so lucky that today isn't Wednesday, because today is Opera Day. Dust off your windpipes, take a deep breath, and get ready to bout out your appreciation for Opera Day. Operas have been captivating audiences since the 16th century, and this highly revered art form continues to gain new enthusiasts, complete with its own special day. Opera developed as part of the classical music tradition in the West, first springing up in Italy and quickly spreading across Europe, including France, England, Germany, and Russia. The first operas aimed to rekindle ancient Greek drama, especially the roles of the chorus, and it wasn't long before opera became popular entertainment, with the first opera season taking place in Venice in 1637. There is no better time to celebrate your passion for opera than Opera Day. And if you have yet to develop a passion for it, then Opera Day is your perfect day to begin. Turning to weather, the high in Bermuda is expected to reach 68 today, while Richmond, Virginia will see a high of 26, and Ocho Rios, Jamaica, a high of 84. And don't forget, it's Reggae Mondays all day on the 4100 radio. Don't miss the mix with Juggling Jason from noon to 3 p.m. Bermuda time. That's your Daily Hour news break.
She said opera. I'm just sound like a gerbil fighting with a squirrel out back. Yeah, but anyway. Carla, before we go to break and then bring Deshun in, I just wanted to touch on something real quickly from Talent. Talent says Cap also had multiple teams wanting to sign him, but he wanted to change the agreement for venue and time, which reduced his demand. Unfortunately, that's not true, Talent. That's what was reported. And this goes back to news and controlling the narrative. Who are we to believe? Are we going to believe the mainstream media and what they told us regarding Colin Kaepernick? Colin Kaepernick, as well as many black. Now, when I say black, I don't mean Stephen A. Smith. Those on this channels, the traditional media channels. But black reporters that are no longer with them, like Jamal Hill, told us what that was about. That was an exercise to show make them look good. That wasn't about signing Kaepernick. That's why he changed the demand. So it would almost be like you being, trust me, I'm going to use an experience. You being made redundant for a job, right? A Bermudian. And then them looking for a position similar, right? Because now they can't, if they have, I think it's 12 months, they have to wait before they put the same position back out. So them putting a position out and then someone within the company saying, yes, apply for it, knowing that you're not going to get it, but just want to go through the exercise to show that they gave you a chance. So let's just be honest in terms of what we're comprehending with the situation. But that's not how it worked out. It's not
real quick. Mm-hmm. What does change for agreement for venue mean?
So basically, they wanted Kaepernick. From what happened with that is they made the rules. Like if we're gonna organize a tryout for you, and it has to be in this place with these people, right? Now with the thing with his tryout, he should have been able to choose his own wide receiver, for instance, right? So you like softball. I'll give you this example. So if you were trying out to be a hitter, right? You might say, well, can you use your own pitcher to pitch to you to prove you can hit? No, they were providing the pitcher. So it's those kind of things. So I just want us to tell the whole truth, so that people get a clear picture of what actually happened with that situation. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with our guest for the day, Deshun Simmons from the Bermuda Economic Development Corporation, who will be stopping by.
Good day, Medical House, Doris speaking. Can I help you?
Medical House is Bermuda's leading one-stop shop for healthcare.
Medical House is a great resource for Lefroy. The service is excellent.
Medical House is best known for its uniforms and footwear. It has hundreds of styles of scrubs and nurses' uniforms for health professionals. Bermuda's top doctors, dentists, care homes, and the hospital choose Medical House for a wide range of products. These same professional quality products are available to you for home health care.
The biggest reason to come see us is that we specialize in these areas and the education and knowledge that we provide.
Medical House is on Millreach Lane in Pembroke, where there's private parking right outside the door. Call or visit Medical House today.
Perrier water has been renowned worldwide for over a century and a half. Collected from a pristine ancient mineral water spring in the south of France, originally bottled in a distinctive green pear-shaped bottle, and distributed in Bermuda by John Barry & Son Limited, our foremost beverage distributor, refreshing Perrier is the champagne of mineral waters. Try Perrier water in bold, natural fruit flavors with no added sugar and 0 calories. This month, we're featuring peach, strawberry, watermelon, orange, pink grapefruit, lime, cucumber, and regular Perrier water in cans. Lindos, why go anyplace else?
All right, welcome back to the big show. Carla Zul, Jamal Hartman here. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindos, and our friends over at Channel 82, where you can also watch this and many other locally produced shows if you have One Communications cable. Let me just give a special shout out to Lamone Woods and the team at Channel 82. I really enjoy working with Lamone, and I really want people to understand something. You know, I saw a lot of people talking about, and I don't have it in front of me, and obviously One Communication is a sponsor of this show, so this is really not coming from any place that anyone's told me to. But I realized there was some charge that people were talking about. And I said to Lamone last week, and I said, we cannot say that we want to support Bermudians and we want to be supported as Bermudians without a cost attached. And I'll leave it at that. So folks, support Bermudian content. Get there. There's a lot that's been out there for us to support. And if you watch the quality, I mean, Lamone's producing quality like Bermuda has not seen before. So check out Channel 82. Let your family and friends know. And without further ado, at this point, let's bring in our guest for the day, Deshun Simmons from the Bermuda Economic Development Corporation. Hello, sir. Welcome to the show.
Morning. How are you guys today?
Morning.
We're okay. I mean, Carla went to sleep early, so she didn't see the Super Bowl, which is a good thing. And she's up, happy and good. And I unfortunately saw about right up until the third quarter. Did you watch any of it? Are you into that?
I'm not so much into the game, but I did go watch the Super Bowl. It was all right.
Yeah.
For the snacks. Let's admit it. The food is the best.
The snacks, the wings, and everything, of course.
Okay. Well, no, I mean, honestly, I didn't watch the whole game. A couple of my friends texted me, said they were out after the second. So, no, it seems like a norm. It's not no abnormalities here. Sorry. Gee, my goodness. This is my juice. Blame my juice this morning.
It's a pizza.
Oh, we'll talk about that because you all been hurting me with that. But Deshun, thanks for stopping by. We have a lot to discuss in a short amount of time. The Digital Leadership Conference. We had two people, David Pride and Dina Puccio, last week. But speak to us about the digital conference. What's inspired the Bermuda Economic Development Corporation to want to be a part of this? What can we expect to see?
So our title is e-entrepreneurship, and then the benefits of starting a business online as a young entrepreneur. So I actually started at BEDC last year, kind of spearheading the summer student entrepreneurship program. And, with COVID and everything, we kind of had to pivot. Normally they would be stationed in Dockyard, Harbor Nights, wherever they could pop up. But obviously with the regulations and everything, we really had to take a step back and figure out how these students can sell their products and still see entrepreneurship as a career goal. So we ended up really having to take a step back, like I said, and push their social media and make sure that they were on these platforms. Mm-hmm. So kids are always on social media. They know what works, they know what doesn't work. So why not use those social media skills in order to, if they're interested in entrepreneurship, to really hone and look at the nuances of how to push a business online.
Okay. Let's talk about the presentation itself. What can the attendees expect to take away from what you're going to offer?
I think they will be able to see how important having a presence online is. I think that historically, a lot of businesses have kind of struggled with that. And, that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to have an e-commerce platform. That could just mean that you do a couple posts a week, even if it's, these are ours. This is, a new product that we have, and really kind of taking that online presence serious. And ultimately, what we're just trying to do is show kids that entrepreneurship is a goal and is a career goal that you can have. And, you don't have to stick to the norm of, kind of what we're told. Like, when I grew up, it was the insurance and the reinsurance industry. And, as you get older, unless you're exposed to certain things, you don't really see those as options. So we really want to show them that entrepreneurship is attainable, but also it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to have a storefront or you need to do pop-ups. That online is a way that you can go, and it's thriving right now.
So, Deshun, why is the role of the BDC so crucial to young entrepreneurs? What are the types of things that they should learn? I know you talked about social media, but what about from the business aspect of it?
So just speaking back to the summer student entrepreneurship program, we teach them everything from how to make a business plan, cash flow forecasts. So we kind of give them a well-rounded approach to how to start a business and how to kind of keep it going. So the BEDC historically has worked with a lot of small businesses, from a business idea to businesses who have been in business, for a couple of years, and just trying to figure out how to get to the next step. Just speaking back to last year with the students in the program, there were some who were doing things for a couple of years, but just didn't know how to take it to the next step. So that allowed them to go to the next step. And then we just had some that thought they had an idea, but they needed the courage to kind of take that next step. So I think really just giving them the opportunity to show them that an idea can turn into a business.
Is there any funding specifically earmarked for young entrepreneurs?
So with the summer student program, we actually give them capital funding of $900 to kind of get their business started off. And then, they have, at the time, myself to weekly check-ins. And then based on those weekly check-ins, they were given a set amount as well. So mostly with the summer student program, that's where a lot of the capital funding that we can have. So we are looking to grow the number of students that we do have. Last year we had, I believe, 12 or 13 students, and we're trying to push that to 15 just to kind of get a more well-rounded approach. And then we also have the youth pitch, which is part of the rocket pitch competition that we have, where students could win up to $5,000 in cash and startup services. So there are quite a bit of funding avenues that students can go to. And, even late teens, we have, microloans and things like that that can kind of get their business started.
Social media, I want to go back to that because kind of covering that. There are these lists in Bermuda right now, right? People tend to, when they have complaints about services or products or businesses, they tend to run to social media to express themselves right now.
Yeah.
What is the advice that we're giving young entrepreneurs in regards to managing those kinds of things on social media outside of their own social media?
I think that, not just students, but businesses as a whole. I think any criticism is still good, no matter how good or bad. There's a quote that says, your worst customer is your best learning experience. So I think that you kind of really have to take a step back, see what they're saying, and then see, how you can apply it. I know there's less than, we've all seen them and everything. And I think that sometimes people can kind of jump the gun, and rather than actually reaching out to a manager or an owner to see how it can get rectified, because entrepreneurs, they're struggling. Like COVID has happened, the pandemic has happened. So entrepreneurs are looking for ways to ensure that they can keep their businesses afloat and keep their customers happy. So I think that if just trying to teach the students that criticism is okay, and kind of really just look at it, as a holistic approach, and, kind of not take things personal.
Yeah, learning from the criticism is crucial, and I think learning to not take it personally as well. But I think in the age of the internet, you're always 1 second, 1 word, 1 product, 1 bad mood away from being on someone's bad side on social media.
No.
Canceled.
Yes, canceled.
And then fight back up. But with the conference coming up, how important do you feel that it is for young people to participate in events like this that cover such a wide array of aspects in the digital world?
I think it's very important. I think with digital in general, it's not just like what we're talking about, starting a business online. It's also, graphics and a whole bunch of things that kind of come together to create that digital landscape. So it's showing students that might have the creativity, that for logo making or graphic design, that, oh, this is an avenue that I can take, that, I don't have to have the stereotypical storefront or selling candles or, what that is. But just really being exposed to a wide variety of options, I think, is really beneficial to kids, because, just going back to myself, what I was exposed to was primarily, reinsurance, insurance. And it kind of wasn't until I had started a business and, and then starting at BEDC, that all of these other things that I kind of wasn't exposed to when I was younger kind of opened my mind to, one avenue that I thought that my life was going to go, and it kind of has pivoted. So I think kind of students taking in as much as they can, even if ultimately it's something that they don't see themselves doing. I think the exposure alone can kind of, adjust their thinking and, the avenue or place that they think that they're going.
Indeed. If you have any questions for Deshun or anything about the Digital Leadership Conference, I know on Friday we had quite a few people asking how can people sign up. There's going to be different tracks where students will be allowed to choose whether they want to take this track or that track and sit in certain courses. So if you have school-age students, make sure you're tuning in and sticking and understanding what each speaker is saying, so that if they sign up, when they sign up, they'll know which track they want to take. As far as the, I want to touch on the entrepreneurship and social media. You mentioned the importance of what the Bermuda Economic Development Corporation can do for small businesses and new businesses. And one of the things that stood out is the amount, especially with the pandemic. I just read an article yesterday about New York City. There's going to be some empty buildings. And so it seems like the way to go for many industries. You might not even need a restaurant for pickup takeout. It might be an old delivery restaurant. Do you see Bermuda, and I know Carlos asked, we've had people on the show previously and asked this question, but do you see Bermuda remaining, an online, because it's so small? Do you think these businesses can survive, like these concepts in Bermuda a long time?
I do, because ultimately, I think it's no different than having multiple businesses that might be similar in a mall. People are going to flock to what they like, what they want to buy, and I think it also gives that the more exposure. Like, okay, I don't need this now, but I might know someone who needs this or whatever. But I think that if you're not online and not posting regularly, you're kind of going to fall to the back because you're not staying relevant. I don't know what your products are. I think even when we were kind of in, not lockdown, but kind of easing up a bit, and we had, assigned grocery days and things like that, and businesses were adjusting their hours, but no one had a social media presence. So I'm checking your Facebook page, Instagram page to see what your hours are, but they're not there. So I'm not going to go, because I'm not going to go drive 20 minutes for you to be closed. No one's answering the phone. Are they not answering because they're busy or because they're closed? So I think that just staying relevant and, having that presence is very key. So I think it's definitely here to stay. The pandemic in no way was anything positive, but I think if anything positive was to come out of it was, I think, the catalyst that a lot of Bermudians needed to take having an online presence serious and kind of putting that at the forefront.
And Carla getting to look at my face every day doing this. James Birch has a question. Mr. Simmons, what are the age ranges for the summer program?
The summer program are between 16 and 25.
All right, 16 and 25. Sloan Johnson says, the youth are the future of economic development in Bermuda. Technology is ingrained in how we work, play, go to school, and communicate. Our young people are growing up in the technological age and have amazing ideas for pushing the tech forward and advancing the current products. Entrepreneurship has no age requirement or limit. Well said, Sloan. And she also says, registration is open at BermudaDigitalLeaders.com. Please check to see if your child's school is registering them as part of a group before registering them individually. So that's where you can go to register. BermudaDigitalLeaders.com, but also make sure you check your child's school to make sure they are not registering individually. Any final words before you head out, Deshun?
I think that, kids, parents, sign your kids up, expose them to as much as you can. We always have multi-week courses, webinars, and everything. Most of our webinars are free. So, anything you want to check out, just visit bedc.bm. And I think that kids should definitely sign up and get that exposure.
All right. Deshun Simmons from the Bermuda Economic Development Corporation. Make sure you sign up at BermudaDigitalLeaders.com. If you want to learn more, go to the website. Deshun, thank you so much for making the time, and all the best in the presentation.
Thank you very much for having me, you guys.
No problem.
Take care.
That was great. I love it, though. I love it. I enjoyed that conversation because, Carla, we speak about it all the time. Like, this show is a product of the pandemic, and the pandemic is not something we wish to happen. There are a lot of lives lost. There's a lot of pain that's been caused, but it has made us respond. The adversity has made us respond, and we've responded by you telling me you love me every morning, and
and you telling me how old I am and I can't sing. Yeah, I get it.
Oh.
But what I really enjoyed with that conversation is that I think so many parents, and yes, I'll age myself, I don't recall there being a BEDC or some offshoot of that when I was growing up. Mm-hmm. And we're always told that you have to be doctors or lawyers or, what did Deshun say? Reinsurance and insurance, when you can make a viable living as an entrepreneur And so I love that young people are being exposed to these opportunities early, because not everybody wants to go off to university or college or do a certification in whatever, but they have brilliant ideas. So I think every young person should take advantage of registering and see what opportunities await them. It may spark something that they might have been mulling, and all they need is that one little push, you know?
I agree. And you know, life's all about responding to circumstances as well. You know, I mean, you know, there's a quote used to say, life is such and such, what happens to you, and such is how you respond. Like it's true. And we can't really sit back and feel sorry for ourselves. So thanks again to Deshun for stopping by and talking with us. Hey, make sure you share the link. We're about to turn it up a bit, folks. Sloan was social media bullying me last night, folks. I shared a picture of my very appetizing meal last night, and Carla had the audacity. Oh, Carla, you want to tell them what you said to me, or should I continue?
If I recall, I said, oh, so it's just like you having lasagna on crust and a water. And I made a mistake. My apologies. I should have said, and sparkling water.
First off, lasagna would mean, they didn't make that with noodles or macaroni or something?
Oh, right. But I mean, basically you had like tomato soup and vegetables on bread. There's no joy in that.
Here's my meal yesterday. So let's look at it. Look at all the comments next to it. So this was my Super Bowl meal. I found a nice new restaurant pizza. I had my peppers and my onions and my mushrooms. You eat all that stuff, right, Carla?
I just started eating peppers 4 years ago.
Okay. So I had all that on my pizza yesterday. It was delicious. And do you know I went in a Walmart for the first time since I've been living in Florida yesterday?
What?
Yeah, I had not been in a Walmart down here.
Target man, aren't you? Because you're so snobby.
No, because Target's right next door to us. So you're right. I mean, you didn't have to make me sound bad, but yeah, Target's right there. I didn't even know we had a Walmart close by. So I found Budweiser Zero. Now, I've never drank a regular Budweiser in my life, so I don't even know what Budweiser tastes like. So I had a little Budweiser. I said, well, let me get this 12-pack of Budweiser Zero. And so that was my Super Bowl meal. You know, no, it's not the fancy nachos and chicken wings, but you all ain't got to make fun of me. You know, Charles, you know, he usually watches the show, and my nemesis, Talent, and all of them just treating me bad, Carl. I mean, I just couldn't believe they would criticize. You wouldn't eat my meal with me?
No, I would try it, but it doesn't even look nice, Jamal. It looks like an accident on top of bread. Like it literally looks like bread kill.
Because that's not what you're used to, player.
It looks like a garden vomited on a patch of blood.
And hold on. And what was that you shared?
I made lasagna.
Oh, that's what that was?
It was delicious. Thank you.
Well,
cheese.
So was my look. I like Brenton's comment, right? Brenton took it so serious. He basically says, somebody goes, "What is that?" Right? And he said, let me. I can't even find. Oh. So someone says, I'm between this and the park, and I don't know what to say. And so Brenton says, decreasing that heart attack risk every day. Right? I said pretty much, but folks, it's all jokes. You know, I just look, when you give up something, you change your mind and make sure that you're putting things inside you that make sense, healthy decisions.
So when you have macaroni and no cheese, so basically whomever makes it for you gives you a bowl of macaroni and butter?
I don't eat macaroni. It's lifestyle changes. Like I just don't do it. Like honestly, my cheats would be potato chips and French fries. Like that. Those are my carbs. Those are my carbs. That's what I
ask you this. Because you don't eat dairy. So do you ever pass gas?
Yeah.
I guess we eat broccoli. It was just a curiosity question.
There's more things that make you pass gas than dairy.
Not for me.
Oh,
I'm joking. I'm gonna go to bed today. I had 8 hours rest.
Oh my. Robert Durham says, reminds me of pizza a few of these restaurants in Bermuda serve. Well, there are some that will say that's a real Italian pizza without the cheese. Yes, it is, my dear friend Shika. It is cheeseless pizza. Charles, I think you posting stuff like that is a cry for help. No, Charles, it's you know what it is, brother? It is a cry for help, a help to get my people eating like the ancestors once did. That's what it is. To get our people relieving ourselves of all the toxic things that we put in our bodies and to get them to make healthier choices. It was actually
Why not
good.
have a bowl of vegetables and some bread with dipping sauce, and there you have it. Your vegetables, your bread, your tomato sauce.
Because the vegetables are not cooked into the bread and the sauce. But in Rhode Island, there's someone from Rhode Island. Rhode Islanders will know this. Rhode Island pizza strips. That's what it pretty much is. Like, it's just bread and sauce. Rhode Island pizza strips. And you know, when I used to love the breadsticks, pretty much like breadsticks as well. If you're
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so Kathy Bromby says, I haven't had breakfast and you're making me hungry, Jamal. So I mean, I'm glad I am. I'm thank you, Kathy Bromby, my friend. I'm gonna share a slice with you if you ever make it over to this place. But look, we're not going to get time to talk about Premier David Brett's situation, but we'll definitely try to remember tomorrow, because I want to talk about us reading beyond the headlines. I definitely don't want to miss that conversation. We're going to take a break. You don't want to miss this daily play, folks, because something just tells me it's Carla. That's all I'm going to say. It's Carla. It's Carla. Stick with us. Don't you go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. It's Carla. It's Carla.
Bermuda, do you know the difference between internet and Wi-Fi? Don't worry, neither did I. Let me break it down to you. Internet is delivered to your modem, which then has to push the Wi-Fi signal into the rest of your home. Do you find that the further you're away from your modem, the weaker your Wi-Fi signal gets? That's because Bermuda's homes are built hurricane tough. It's really difficult for that Wi-Fi signal to reach every room. But you're in luck. Our One Home Wi-Fi solution guarantees Wi-Fi coverage in and around your home with the help of our Eero devices. Plug in the Eero around your home and it will create a mesh Wi-Fi network in every room. Check us out at One today to sign up and make sure you can stream, work, and play from every corner of your home.
So my name is Denny O'Connor. I'm part of the Bermuda Travel Concession. I have a great partner named Jennifer, and we are overseeing the 3 restaurants here at the airport.
We knew we needed the support of the Bermuda Economic Development Corporation in order to help us with not only our business plan, but also financing. So financing was one of the biggest things, and we knew that we could count on BEDC because we've used them in the past and they've always come through for us.
Someone that is starting their own business, I would just say keep running. And when I mean run forward. Don't run backwards, don't run away from it.
It is instrumental to have a good support team around you. Don't take failure as a setback, take it as a setup for future opportunities and more learning and understanding and growth.
So whenever I'm doing a business venture, I'm always looking to contact BEDC because I feel that they are the support system behind my success. I'm very excited and very motivated to be working with them and learning and growing as they are great guidance for us. I would encourage someone starting their own business to look BEDC up, for sure.
All right, welcome back. She's Carla, I'm Jamal. It's the Big Show Daily Hour. Lenders, Medical House, One Communications, thanks to all of them. Also, Channel 82, where you can watch this and many other locally produced shows. So it's Daily Playtime. If this is your first time watching, you know this is the most interesting part of the Daily Hour. So it's a famous
right last week.
Yeah, it was the late Laverne Frobert, right? Yeah, you did get it right one time. So let's hope you continue that genius into this week. All right, here we go. Quote, challenges make you discover things about yourself that you never really knew. They're what make the instrument stretch, what make you go beyond the norm, end quote.
I've heard this before. Michelle Obama.
An actress, and she was an actress of stage, screen, and TV.
Oh, Cicely Tyson.
Check you. Look at that. Look at that. Drop a bomb for you this morning. Go ahead now. Shucks. Go ahead now. Look, she's getting better at this, folks. She's getting better at this guessing game.
You know what it is? Should I tell you my secret? I know you so well that I realize that everything you do ties into something. And so she passed away, but it didn't fit with the daily play. So I knew she'd be coming up this week.
There you go. And that's how it should be. It's not trick questions to the point we don't want people to get the answers, because we'll be here all day, folks. So hopefully you all, again, we did Madame Laverne for a bit last week. We didn't have a chance to do Cicely Tyson, so we did her today. Answer this question real quickly. Have you not tried vegan cheese, Jamal?
He hates it.
It's the nastiest thing I've ever had. So yes, I've tried various types, and I am not a fan. Mind you, I did get some vegan mac and cheese from a Jamaican food truck recently, and it was actually good. So if you liked and enjoyed today's show, very helpful information for those who have ideas about being entrepreneurs of all ages. If you're looking to always wanted to own a clothing store and you maybe can't afford a clothing front, maybe you should start an online business. I don't know. Think about it. The opportunities are there. But if you enjoyed today's conversation, make sure you give us a thumbs up, a like, give us some sort of response. Carla, any recap of today's show before you give us some inspiration?
Sign your young people up to this conference. And it's virtual, so no matter where you are in the world, and they get some great tools out of it. And thank you. Deshun was such an example of a young person speaking about young people. So kudos to him.
Indeed. I really enjoyed the conversation with Deshun, and said some very valuable things that can be helpful for people of all ages. But I want to repeat something you said, Carla, and like you, I could be wrong, but I don't remember these kind of offerings available when I was younger. So young people definitely have an advantage with this. What I will say is just sign them up. If there's an opportunity to learn something new, if you have children that are innovative, like creating things, sign them up. Even if they're not, they may see an opportunity in something they didn't know existed. So get them signed up. Make sure you share with family and friends, and make sure that they got a piece of it as well. You got some inspiration for us, right, Carla? Of course she does, folks.
A gentle word, a kind look, a good-natured smile can work wonders and accomplish miracles. William Hazlitt.
So I'm going to look good to accomplish things. If that's what I just heard.
A kind look, a gentle word, a kind look, a good-natured smile can work wonders and accomplish miracles. Because Jamal, when you smile, the whole world smiles back at you.
I do think I have a kind look. I've been working on it, because people be like, oh, I see that thing in your head and your shoulder. So I'm like, how about now?
It's as fake as that cheese you ate.
No cheese at all, folks. We'd rather no cheese at all. We have a great lineup coming up the rest of the week. Like I said, I want to touch on the David Burt, Premier David Burt yesterday. By the way, do you have a problem when the media doesn't refer to him as Premier David Burt? I saw people complaining about that.
What people need to understand is that people have different styles in how they're trained. So in the UK, for example, everybody is just their last name, unless it's the Premier. Well, Mr. Hartman, Mr. Burt. But some people would say Burt. It's not a sign of disrespect. It's just different styles that people use when they write.
I never thought today, but I shouldn't be surprised. In extremely conservative communities and societies, it seems like people are so caught up on titles. And I'm just like, who cares if they call me Mr. Hartman, Jamal Hartman, whatnot? Just make sure you pronounce it right and spell it right. But the titles will never, ever, they don't reflect character.
But I also think when someone's reading or listening to a story, they don't need to hear the honorable every time. So you refer to him as Premier Burt, and then after that, Mr. Burt. That's how I write. But with all the JPMP ... heplep.
And I do it. I do it, but at the same time, if I didn't, it doesn't mean I respect them any less. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, we've got to run. You ain't got nothing else to say, right, Carl?
It's opera day.
All right, she doesn't. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, and Lindos, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Carla Zul. I'm Jamel Hartman. My friends, make it a great Monday.